Hello everybody, how you guys doing? I'd like to welcome you to today, which is the 1st of May. Today is Labor Day all over the world, and it is a day for everybody who works hard. If you know you work hard, today is your day. It's not for people who are lazy, people who just sit down on the couch and not move themselves and want somebody to do some things for them. Today is not for you. So it is a day for very hardworking people, and that's a very good day for us to be starting our series, which is overcoming um, overcoming obstacles and barriers in your life. And today we have a special guest. You're going to see her. Today we're talking about overcoming limitations and breaking barriers. I have a special guest today. She's the owner of the blog that they say Oseme Tokam. Oseme Tokam. But that's not her. Her name is also Blessing. So we're going to bring her up very soon, and you guys will be able to hear from her. I'll tell you one very funny thing. I was going to start this series in Worshipmedia. We were going to start this series, and we're thinking of a name to adopt for the series. And when we had adopted this same name, can you imagine the coincidence? When we had adopted the name Overcoming Limitations and Breaking Barriers, I went online. I went online looking for an image to use to make the flyer for this broadcast. And guess what? When I typed in the search, when I typed the same thing, a couple of works that people have done in the past just popped up. There was one by Joel Austin, the pastor Joel Austin. And then I saw another one by this lady. It was a blog. And I was surprised. I was like, really? So I decided to contact her. And I said, can you come and talk about this topic since you already had something doing about it? And she said, why not? And that's how come we're setting up this interview today. So instead of me breaking my head trying to do an intro about the topic, we have someone who already wrote something about it. That's the person you are going to listen to today. Why am I doing this? And you guys know that my focus is a lot on Africans, on especially Nigeria, yeah, but Africans in general, blacks all over the world, because we know the statistics, believe it or not, the poverty level amongst people of African descent is so high, and there's a lot of poor African countries, and a lot of the people living outside Africa who are living like in places like the US or Canada where I live. We all have to deal with so many situations that are caused by the fact that we are from those African areas. So that's why a lot of us struggle to make it in our business, to make it in our endeavors, but still we have to cope with the level of poverty that people experience, like back home or even in our communities around here. So it makes it very difficult for some of us to just attain certain levels in life. That is the main reason why we've looked around and we say, you know what, let's focus on this thing so we can help people in our communities, people who are struggling, people who find themselves dealing with this situation. We can help them by also bringing people who have gone through what they've gone through, so they can see how these people were able to deal with the situations that they found themselves in. We have someone that's going to be speaking to us later, not today, but on another day, who is into confectionaries and snacks, and she's going to come and tell us how she was able to set up that business and she's able to do it. We have somebody again who is a publisher who is in the UK that will come and tell us how she was able to overcome the obstacles that she encountered and was able to excel in what she's doing. We also have somebody who owns an entertainment. I don't even know what to call him. He's into entertainment. He's into the hospitality business. He owns a restaurant here in Toronto. He's going to come and tell us a little bit about how he's able, because a lot of people don't believe that Africans can do certain things that these people are doing. So we need to be able to show people that yes, people are doing these things. Okay, there's somebody who is making wines in California. They will come and talk to us about it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to Onome Tokam, that is her blog, she wrote something. She says 7 ways of overcoming limitations and breaking barriers. And number 1 is, if you accept your limitations, you can go beyond them. If you accept your limitations, you go beyond them. She says, number 1 is for you to identify and embrace your fears. That the fear of losing out could sometimes stop you from wanting to attempt a venture. You may not be able to attempt a venture because of the fear you have that you could lose out. And this is quite understandable that no one wants to be seen as a failure. Some of us are so afraid to try that you don't even want to try at all. That's the reason why a lot of us are not even married, because you're afraid of even getting into a relationship at all. So that's what she's talking about in number 1. She says, you should dream big and dare to fail. Number 2, she says, you have to be optimistic. You have to be optimistic. And it says that, do you know the mind is a very powerful tool? Do you understand that the results we get most times has to do with our thought process? Do you know that you can think things into existence? The mind is a very powerful thing. You need to be able to keep your mind active. You can never stop dreaming. You can never stop aspiring. You can never stop. Always be optimistic. Even if you're not seeing the results immediately, you must be optimistic. You cannot give up. And that is what she says, be optimistic. This is one of the ways of you being able to overcome your limitations. Number 3, she says, believe in yourself. You must believe in yourself. When everybody says you cannot do it, when everybody says it is not possible, no, you have to believe in yourself. Don't let anybody tell you that it is not possible. You have to believe in yourself. That's what she says. And she says, never be afraid of taking risks. Don't you ever be afraid of taking risks. Never be afraid of taking risks in your life. Okay? That's number 4. Number 5, it says, be self-reliant. It's a major danger sign when an individual gets to a point that they can't function well without certain people. Be self-reliant. Okay? If you get to a point where it is, you're waiting for people to give you money, you're waiting for people to direct you, you're waiting for people to endorse you, you're waiting for people to acknowledge you before you can do what you set out to do, that is not a very good place to be. Now, never procrastinate. That's another point she made, the 6th point. It says, do you know that procrastination is a major dream killer? Anytime you want to do something, just go ahead and do it. For me, a lot of people don't understand that about me. When I have a thought, when I have a dream, I just sometimes, not all the time, but when I actually want to do something, I just get about it and I start doing it. I start making phone calls. I start reaching out to people. Sometimes people get apprehensive because they think you're coming too strong on them. Why are you wanting this thing so urgently? It's because I need to get it out of my system, because if I don't, if I let it be, then I may never do it. So that's why it happens that way. I'm gonna place a call to Blessing right now. So now I'm calling Blessing, who is the publisher of Onome Talk and Blog. I'm calling her right now. Hello, Blessing.
Hello.
Hello, Blessing. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. You're still on. A lot of people are watching. A lot of people have been patient. They're cheering you on. So I'm glad that you've not given up.
That's one of the challenges we're talking about there.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, that it's kind of it's surreal. It's funny that we're talking about limitations and breaking barriers, and we get an opportunity to practicalize it. I think that is incredible. So let me go ahead and ask you to tell us about yourself. Just yeah.
Okay. My name is Onome. I blog at onome.com.com. It's a great pleasure to be with you today.
Okay.
So, limitations, if I call it limitations and breaking barriers. Limitation in itself, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is defined as a kind of restriction, a force, or a failing. At a point in everybody's life, we all go through one form of limitation or the other. I try as much as possible to tell people that limitations are part of life. Mm-hmm. Anybody that hasn't faced any form of limitation, is not facing any form of limitation, simply means that person is not living. Mm-hmm. I know there comes a time in our lives when we have to deal with one type of challenging or the other. Everybody has been there. People will continue to deal with challenges, part of life. So that is it. But the thing about the whole thing is how far we were able to overcome the limitation, to overcome our fear, and not to try to keep ourselves to a particular place, telling ourselves that we can't do, telling ourselves that, oh, it's going to be difficult, telling ourselves that, how am I sure I can go ahead with it? How am I sure that people will listen to me? How am I sure that people want to hear what I have to say? So most times we shortchange ourselves by stuff like that, by limiting our capabilities and talking ourselves out of experience, but rather choosing to come to fear of the unknown. You're probably wondering, what am I talking about? So there are so many ways people limit themselves without even knowing it.
Hold on, Onome. You see, okay. For those that are listening and for those that are watching us, because when I interview people on Worshipmedia, we are really after, getting to know what makes you different from everybody else. Because out there, when I was trying to start this series, and I typed the topic, exactly what you had dealt with, a lot of it came out. A lot of people had written articles about this, but your own stood out to me because we were focusing on people that are from Africa, from Nigeria, Black people. And I said, oh, let me take this one that was written by you. And I want to be able to connect your decision to write about overcoming limitations and breaking barriers. I want to connect it to your experience in life. Are there some experiences in life that you think makes you or places you in a better position to be writing about this? Is it because you've read it somewhere, or because there are some practical situations? Because that way we can connect with someone who is going through that kind of situation. You don't have to give us details. Today is a Workers' Day in all over the world, and we're focusing in Nigeria. We know that right now a lot of workers they cannot get by with their salaries. They cannot get by with whatever they are taking home as wages, and they have to look elsewhere to augment whatever they are getting for their families. And every time they try to get into something, they are confronted with obstacles, they are confronted with limitations, they are confronted with barriers. So we want to know the barriers that you were confronted with, and maybe how you overcame them, and then we can apply it to those things that you have written concerning this topic.
Okay, thank you so much. Trust me, I've been through a lot. After the point I wrote this particular blog post, I was more or less like one of the lowest points in my life.
Wow.
Let me say, right from time, I'm a very, very intelligent person, but somehow stuff happened, life happened. I wasn't able to complete my university education. Along the way, I dropped out.
Wow.
At the stage, there are times that I wish to want to do things. Even when I started to start blogging, I met a friend and we got talking. He was like, Onome, you are a very intelligent person. You can write, you speak for. Why not try to put more of this into a blog? Talk to people what you've been through. Let them understand that you might not have gotten to where you want to yet, but that does not mean you're not working towards it. That does not mean you will not get there. There are things that I come up with ideas that I want to do, that I want to practicalize, and I'm like, how will people listen to me when there are so many people that have their master's degree, that are PhD holder? I'm more or less like a postdoc holder. I don't even finish my university education. So why would they want to listen to me? Why will I want to talk? Because right here in Nigeria, if you want to work, we all know that our success here in Nigeria is not a matter of how intelligent you are. I'm sorry to say that. There are so many people that apply their way through school. You have so many uneducated graduates that can't even stand to defend the work that they have done, or can't even stand to defend their own grade that is made up from the university. So at that stage, I felt like, why will people listen to me? When I go for job interviews and they ask, where are your qualifications? And I just present them my skill set. They give me that look that, what is she doing here? We didn't ask for social holders. We asked for BSc holders. But there are places that when I get talking to them, when we start the interview and we start talking, there are a few people that look past my qualification, and as well, they just go ahead to offer me a chance to work in the organization. And to be honest, it's not really easy. Even with people that have PSO that you're working together, everybody wants to look down at you, that when you want to make this point, you look at that, what is she doing? What makes that think she can challenge us? What makes that think she's as intelligent as we have? So limitations in life, but limitations you always come. Is the way you deal with it.
You see, I like what I'm hearing from you. This makes more impact to me than even reading the definition of limitation, because right there we can see that you had a limitation. Here we have someone who is well spoken. Look at the way your English is, and you're correct. I just came back from Nigeria a couple of weeks ago, and this is the closest interaction I've had with people, direct interaction after like 10 years, because I did some politics. Now there's a lot, the state of things in Nigeria with the corruption. I'm just confirming what you have said. There's a lot of people who are moving around with their certificates, but you ask them to put down a simple sentence and they find it difficult to do. So it is interesting to see that someone like you, who is writing all these beautiful things and giving advice to people, had such limitations. And I want to let people know that, like in Nigeria, they want you to have this degree, they want you to have this, and they want you to have that. It's not about the qualification you have. It's about what's in you, what you can bring to an organization, what you can bring to a business. So what you are saying is really, really correct. Now, let's go ahead. Since we now know that you are the kind of person that we can believe, that we can trust what she's saying because you have experienced it practically, just go ahead and run through for us some of the things, because like I saw the way you listed it in your blog, run through those points that you stated there about the ways that people can overcome the limitations that they are facing in their life, and how they can overcome, break barriers that they are facing in their life. Just help us run through that with your own, in your own words and your own experience.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Moving ahead.
Yeah.
Some of the ways I would like people to really consider and look into is just have an understanding that limitations will always come. That is one thing. You must have that understanding that limitations will always come. It presents itself in various forms. So the way it comes and your attitude towards it is the most important part of it. So first, number one, I'll say identify and embrace your fear.
Okay.
Fear is one of the greatest things that we all deal with in every part of the world. But your attitude towards it is what differentiates you towards others. And the fear of losing out at times will stop us from wanting to attend to essential. The ideas that we already have, you can see this big picture before us. We have an idea that we know will blow, that will touch so many lives in positive ways. But boom, fear comes in, and you're trying to take yourself to one part that I can't do this. I can't do this. People will not listen to me. Who am I that people will listen to? No, it doesn't work that way. Okay? The only thing you can is understand and accept it, that there's a possibility of not getting it right the first time. But that will not stop you from trying again and again and again. And the thing you should understand is, if you do something the first time and you didn't get it right, you go through it the second time, the fourth time, probably got it right the fifth time. Are those other four times wasted? No. You've learned 1, 2, 3, 4 other lessons that will influence your thinking in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing you should think about is you should be optimistic. The mind is a very powerful tool. I tell people about that. It is what you think that will reflect in your everyday life. The result will get most have to do with our thought process. A positive mindset guarantees success in every situation. Look out for the best in what seems like a setback. Look out for the best in whatever things is not going right. All the great men and women we have out there have one story or the other to tell. How they overcame the limitations and were able to break the barriers. Whatever the level of limitation you face in life, a positive outlook, a positive mindset is the best way to move on in life. And that is one of the things that will help you overcome limitation, barrier, in whatsoever form it presents itself to you. You can do it. Just believe. Believe in yourself. That whether you succeed in life, whether you fail in life, it's not dependent on any other person but yourself. Just have that belief that, so many other people are doing it, and as well do it. The people that are doing it, they don't have 10 heads, they don't have 5 heads, they are not much more intellectual than you are. They don't have sometimes the people that are even doing it, they think it's a bit of luck on their side. So if they can do it, just accept the fact that you can also do it. Nothing makes them different from you. There's another thing people think about, they are afraid of taking risks. They are afraid that, what if I put all my effort into this? What if I do this and it doesn't work? What if I'm rejected? What if people look at me and who is this one? Where is he coming from? Where is he coming from? What does she think she is? Or who does she think she is? Who does she know? What connection does she have? Sorry to say, in this part of the world where we come from, like the writer said, people get taught these days based on connection. That is discouraging people from wanting to attend what they are sure of so that they can do it. But the people that there are billion people out there that have connections, they are recording to CEOs of companies, people that are well connected in Nigeria. And here you are, maybe you're just like an average Nigeria, the common civilian like stay here in this part of the world. So you feel like, let me not risk it, let me not waste my time, let me not waste my effort. After all, it won't count. No, it doesn't work that way. The best people that have made it so far in life from what I've read and from what we have seen happening around us are those people that take risks. They don't let whatever present itself as limitation to distract them from working towards their goal, from achieving what they want to achieve. For personally, starting my blog, I just knew I could do this. I knew I could write. I knew I had a lot in me that the world is yet to discover. I didn't let the fact that I'm not a PhD holder in quote to stop me from getting my voice out there, from getting people to hear about me, from giving the world what I am made of. Because I know there's a lot in me that the world is yet to discover. So never be afraid of taking risks. Free yourself. Just know that if others can do it, I can do it too. It doesn't mean limitation will not come along the way. It should definitely become part of life.
Before you go on, there's a point I wanted to make here. You see, because you especially when you keep talking about this, even though you don't have a BSc degree or master's degree, I need to let people know this. I think we lost it somewhere, and they need to go and teach this back in our schools. If you're training to be a doctor, if you're training to be a lawyer, if you're trained to be a nurse, a pastor, whatever you're training to be, if at the end of the day you're not able to put food on the table for your family, if you're not able to do that, then we have a problem. We have a very big problem. So what we are trying to say here is that it doesn't matter what the ever kind of training you have. It is how you're able to use it to advance your purpose in life. How you're able, let me break it down, how you're able to make money out of it. So it's not too much about the amount of education that you get. It is how you're able to apply whatever little education you have acquired and how you are able to apply it to life practical circumstances and be able to make something out of life. Like you now, you're making something for yourself. If you did not write this blog all the way in Nigeria and I'm all the way in Canada and I saw it, and now we are talking to each other and we are now impacting, you are now impacting to other people. It's not because of your PhD or whatever. So people need to know this and put more effort in developing whatever skill they have and don't focus so much. Education is good, yes, but some people can pass through the walls of a university and come out for 10, 20 years and not be able to show anything for the education they acquired. I just had to drop it there, but go ahead and continue.
Okay. Having said that, the fact that I didn't go ahead at the point, I didn't get my visa at the point I was supposed to get it.
Yeah.
I tried along the line to acquire some skills about that are kind of giving me money now.
Yes.
And that's okay. I still went ahead. I registered in a distance learning center.
Mm-hmm.
I still had the focus that I want to. That PhD that others have gotten. They don't have friends like me. I must get it. I encouraged myself that far. And I registered in a distance learning center as a part-time student. I'm presently undergoing my PhD program now.
Okay.
So the thing is, even if what you want to achieve in life, you need to get it at the point you want to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let that discourage you.
For sure.
There are always other opportunities. Opportunity will always keep coming. But that does not mean, okay, it didn't work this way. Should I now relax? Should I now sit down and organize a city party. Then I start begging from hand to mouth. No. In the process, you can look for other opportunities to build yourself up. Learn a skill. Get something doing. But the most important aspect of it is let it be something legit. Let it be something you will be proud of. Let it be something you can stand for and defend that, yes, this is what I do. This is how far I've come with myself. This is what I was presented with. This is how I managed to go through them. And this is what I'm looking forward to achieve in the future. So don't ever let any form of limitation that life presents you with, don't let it put you down. Don't let people look at you and not you. Who are you? Don't let people define you. The most important thing, people should not define you. Other people's idea or opinion should not define you. I'm not saying you shouldn't speak for advice there and there. At times we need it to put us on the right path. But you should be able to see the positive part from the negative part. See the ones that apply to you that you feel will make life better, that you feel will make you work towards your goal. You don't just take everything that everybody says. You are you. You know what you want. You know how far you can go to get it, and you know what will work for you. You should work towards improving yourself. There's nothing like limitation bringing you down. Limitation will always come, but the way you deal with it matters a lot. You should be able to stand tall, far above your limitation, so you can beat yourself that yes, I went through this. I came, I saw, and I conquered. It wasn't easy. You can talk about it. It can be a kind of a motivating factor to tell your story. People will be motivated. They want to be the best they are in life. So another thing, you should never ever procrastinate. Procrastination is a major dream killer. When you keep on delaying what you should do today, let me do it tomorrow. Let me do it then. Let me give it time. Let me do one other thing. Time is never enough. So you should try as much as you can to do the things you need to do at that point you should do them. Don't say no, let me wait. Don't say no. Things I am presented with this barrier, there's so many barriers on the way, there are so many things working against me. Let me push it to when the conditions are much more conducive. I don't think there's a sense that the condition will be 100% conducive. There will always be something. So take the hope by the horn and work towards it. Do what you can do it. If others can do it, you can avoid it.
For sure. Yeah, fantastic. Guys, I'm sure you see that it was worth it that we kept on trying and we kept on trying. And I can say we overcome whatever obstacles and barriers that we had. You can't believe that 30 minutes to this program, we did our test run, we spoke and everything was okay. And then just when we started the program, everything started going the way it was. But, you know, I guess this was just, it provided an opportunity for us to practicalize or demonstrate what we're telling you. We could have given up. We could have stopped the broadcast. We could have just said, you know what, everybody pack. At the point, I think I even said I was going to stop it and do it again. But, you know, my sister kept on pushing and she kept on trying and we all kept on trying. And finally, we got the interview going on. I really like to thank Blessing Onome for coming on this broadcast and sharing her ideas with us. I'm sure somebody out there can identify with the things that she's talked about. Remember, we're dedicating today's broadcast to everybody who is a worker, everybody who does some form of work to put food on the table, anybody who is not just sitting down there and lazing about and just sitting down and lazing about and not doing anything. Okay, sorry, I already caught Blessing's line. I hope she can still hear me, but that was awesome. We are going to continue with this series. This is just the introduction. There's going to be tons and tons of it, I have other people lined up. There's a guy in Nigeria who's doing some awesome things with very dangerous stuff. I can't even talk about it right now, but I'm gonna get an opportunity to bring her in and let her talk to us, and we would hear from her too. On the 3rd of May, which is Friday, I have another special guest. She's based in Calgary, Canada. She's going to come and talk to us about how she overcame obstacles and limitations that she had in her life. She's the owner of the Cake Isle. The Cake Isle. She's the owner of the Cake Isle. They are makers of the Chin Chin African snacks, based in Calgary, Canada, and her name is Eugenia Ogundare. She'll be talking with us on this same series where we are looking at overcoming limitations and breaking barriers. We also have on the 9th of May, a lady all the way in London, England. Her name is Yvonne Chioma Mbalefo. And you'll be wondering, how come we're just focusing on ladies? You see, because it's a man's world out there. You have men as business leaders, you have men breaking barriers, you have men dealing with obstacles, but we want to be able to show that there are ladies out there who, in spite of family, and you see all of these people, they are family people. So in spite of dealing with their families, in spite of dealing with this and that, they still found a way to pursue whatever dream they had, and they were able to break the barriers that were stopping them from doing whatever they want to do, and they are excelling. I'm able to do this because I can identify with these stories. So we're going to bring you lots of these stories through these interviews. Stay tuned. Well, there could be more that will come in between. We're just gonna remember when Onome was talking, she says, don't procrastinate and just take something. So if we see somebody who is ready to do the interview, we might just grab them, him or her, do the interview, document it, and then publish it later. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. Today is our first day. We'd like to apologize for anything that did not work out fine. Like I said, we're going to do it and we're going to publish it on our YouTube channel. Check out Worshipmedia on YouTube and like us, subscribe if you've not subscribed, and leave us a comment and share our broadcast so that we can also educate others and be a blessing to them. So from Chidi and Erica, Worshipmedia in Toronto, Canada, and this is Chidi signing out.